Over the next 3 weeks, I'm meeting teens.
How are you, Gok?
I want to find out exactly what it's like to be a teenager today.
I don't think I'm a typical teenager at all.
People used to just call me names. I was ugly, I hate them.
I didn't come out till I was 16.
They're living in a 24/7 cyber world where everyone has an opinion.
There was tagged photos, the fat ones, the ugly ones.
From girls aspiring to ridiculous perfection
That picture makes me feel a bit sick.
I think that looks really nice.
and paying the price,
Someone looked at it, said that I looked dead.
or just struggling to fit in.
I just want to be normal like everyone else.
I'll be helping these kids be the best they can be
Am I your typical homo? Well, you can tell me. I don't get offended easy.
by meeting new people
You look stupid, Gok.
this is horrible. and releasing the pressure.
Hands up for Nemesis.
And we'll be hearing from some familiar faces who prove it does get better.
I used to get these waves of positive. It usually happened when I was watching a musical.
For the last 5 years, I've been helping women and the occasional man with their body hatred and confidence issues. But now, it's the turn of the teens. As a teenager, I've been there. But today, it seems even harder. Coming out, body confidence, being different, bullied. How do we help the next generation? Tonight, I'm hoping to help 4 teens who are dealing with being bullied.
I'm fine until I get to the gates and then I'll start panicking.
Can't even log onto Facebook. I'm getting it at home as well.
You can never get away from it.
I got beat up once outside my own house.
I'll be learning from mentors, teachers, and role models to help these kids feel better about themselves and be proud of who they are. And I take to the air as I try to spread my message and encourage schools to get on board with my body confidence lesson. It's about bullying, eating disorders, growing up gay. It's about all those issues that affect our bodies. Thank you very much, guys! 69% of kids in the UK say they've been bullied. So I want to find out what their experiences are and see if things have changed since I went through it myself.
Good morning.
I hope by talking about it, we can make a difference to those who suffer bullying as part of their everyday lives.
Do any of you have any idea at all why I'm here to speak to you? Guy in the back.
About bullying?
About bullying, absolutely. It was really easy for the bullies to turn around to me and say, "Oi, chink! Oi, you yellow boy, slanty eyes! Oi, you faggot!" Every single day. You know, I mean, let's face it, 6'1", 21 stone, openly camp, mixed race. I mean, basically, I might as well just stood there and held up a red flag to the bullies and said, come on, come and attack me. But what I've done is I've turned that into a positive. I've turned that into a career now. Why do we bully them?
Boosting your own self-esteem.
Boosting our self-esteem. Do you know what? You're absolutely right. Why else?
Because when something's going wrong in their lives, they feel like it's a way to let out everything that they've been holding inside as well.
Absolutely. People do bully, but they don't really understand what they're doing. And so if we think about it and talk about it, we can put a stop to bullying.
I'm about to meet a set of twins who have been through some quite severe bullying most of their lives. Bullying hasn't changed much, but I think maybe the style of bullying has. Today, kids are on the internet and social networking constantly, which means bullies have a new way of getting to their victims. It's come out of the playground and into the home.
Well, we were friends with these people before, and then one of them told us about an ugly list which they'd made, and that we were on it. And then on Facebook, there was the tagged photos, the fat, the lazy ones, the ugly ones. I really don't like myself. I just don't see anything which I could like. I just don't have any body confidence. And I know that's come from them.
As you know, I am travelling around the country talking to different teenagers about their experiences about growing up. And I know that you two had been through some quite horrendous experiences of bullying, is that right?
Yeah. It was people outside of school. It was on the internet as well and on Facebook.
And it's on the street. Oh, look, it's the fat twins.
And how do you think being a twin has maybe had an impact on you being victims of bullying?
We wouldn't have been bullied like to this extent. Maybe we would have had a few name calling. But the fat twins, you wouldn't really have that. Can't even go home, log onto Facebook at home, and I'm getting it at home as well. Just what is the point?
You can never get away from it.
Yeah.
It's constant.
To an adult, cyberbullying may not seem like much. A few abusive messages, images or photos. But it's the fact it's direct to a mobile phone or a computer that makes it difficult to ignore.
Anybody can say anything to you. If they were facing you, they would not say that. They're facing the screen, they think they're brave.
You don't even have to be yourself anymore. You can just create another profile of someone else, and the person you're bullying wouldn't even know it's you.
And I'm discovering it's becoming more common and damaging to young people's lives.
At primary school, I had an argument with someone, and someone had made an internet page all about me and how much they disliked me, and it really upset me.
The thing that's affects me is racism. If someone was to post a picture of me, stereotypical images of people from Africa or something like that.
So they download an image off the internet of an African person, and then they would say, this is Daniel.
Yeah.
Because you don't have time to think, well, I'm not going to take this, I'm going to walk away. You sit there and dwell on it. I'm going to go into school and everyone's going to be talking about it.
Who uses Facebook? Hands in the air, Facebook. Who uses Twitter? Who uses Bebo? What is the difference between me doing this? Look at your hair! Look at your boobs, they're enormous! I can't believe it! What's the difference between me doing that or me sitting at home on my mobile phone going, I can't believe how fat she is. Is she a lesbian?
You can hide behind a phone so they can't respond to you.
It's more cowardly to say it behind a computer screen rather than to their face.
Yes, why can't you just walk away from it? But the truth is, you actually can't.
It's impossible to police bullying across the whole internet, but on a smaller scale, something can be done. At St Paul's Catholic School in Surrey, they've invested in a new computer system that's resulted in an amazing 90% reduction of the problem in their school.
It's great to be at the school today, and I really enjoyed doing the assembly, but I also know that you have clamped down on your cyberbullying hugely, haven't you?
Well, we have a system in place that captures anything that's written on the screen, anything that's produced by students to check the abusive words and phrases around bullying, around racism, around homophobia.
And we've got a fake one here saying, we're going to get you after school, going to beat you up. How would you action that then?
Any captures there are alerted to my IT technician. It's printed out, there's the evidence, and the head of year or the member of staff then addresses that with the child concerned, and it's in front of them.
And it's so advanced, it says here that it's got a username, so it will be the person that then log in.
Absolutely.
It will be the computer they
Indeed.
wrote the document on. It's almost bully-proof in a weird way.
It absolutely triangulates where they are, what time, what was going on as well.
It is genius.
When you're a teenager, you just want to be older, bigger, tougher than you really are. And on the internet, you can pretend to be anyone, so bullying is easy. The social networking site Bebo has 15 million 13 to 19-year-old registered users, and 76% of this age group have a profile on Facebook.
I go on social network things every day. Facebook, mostly.
I'm never really offline, so people always ping me.
If the sites or the phones got cut off or closed down, I don't know how I would live.
Facebook made over £1 billion last year. So what are these massive companies actually doing to combat cyberbullying?
We see this as very much a shared responsibility. We want people to be free to connect with each other and share on Facebook, but our rules make it absolutely crystal clear that you should not harass or bully other users. If, for example, it's a Facebook page that's attacking an individual, very simple, that page will come down. If it's messages sent between people, we may send a warning to that individual and say, hey, you're doing things that are inappropriate. One of the tools we've just brought in is something called social reporting, where we offer people the ability to report the problem to a parent or to a teacher or another responsible adult. And in doing that, they can deal with it in the real world where a lot of these issues need to be resolved.
Do you know what? Parents need to take control of their kids' online world. Don't just bury your heads in the sand, talk to them, ask them questions, join their social networking sites. It's really not a case of spying, it's about being a parent. Bullying affects people from every walk of life. It doesn't matter who you are or who you've become.
I used to get past notes and they'd go, "Why are you going red? Why do you always go red? You ginger pig."
You got to be careful because those nicknames will stick. Like, I had a friend whose nickname was Skids, all right? And you think, oh, Skids, presumably he had skid marks. He didn't have skid marks. His older brother, who'd been at the same school, had skid marks like 5 years before he even arrived there.
Yeah, I think being bullied made me more determined. It drove me on to want to succeed. I want to prove people wrong. I want to become somebody and become a champion one day. So if anything, it made me stronger.
I had horrendous spots. I mean, really spotty, which everyone said is a teenage thing. But I didn't eat lots of junk, but I just had these horrendous spots that someone called me pizza face once.
I remember once some 3 blokes in a van shouted, "Oh, you fat cow," at me out of a van. And I had really bad PMT at the time, and I wouldn't normally do this, but I just walked up to the van and pulled the windscreen wipers off and went, "F you, you bunch of and they were so shocked.
Later, Jo has more pearls of wisdom for dealing with bullies.
They're pointless. Abuse them. Come to me. I'll give you some lovely put-downs.
My one bit of advice to everybody watching is be good to people, be kind, stay strong, and fall in love.
Don't dye your hair, because when it goes pear-shaped, it's horrendous.
Chat and cry and hug and then listen and you'll be fine.
Come to me. I'll give you some lovely put-downs. Here's one. Where's your girlfriend outside grazing, I presume? That's always worked for me.
I was bullied myself, and everyone knows about that. And it probably destroyed most of the best years of my life. But it wasn't until I was older that I could turn around and say thank you, bullies, because had you not done that to me, then I wouldn't be the person I am right now.
I'm certainly not alone. For thousands of teens, being bullied is just a fact of life.
On a bad day, they just, like, the people will say, like, that I've got, like, one eyebrow and they'll, like, push me into other people.
She's had her head banged on a table once. She was called Four Eyes a lot, and there was one occasion where she got her glasses pushed off her face. It is just meanness, really.
Bethany's story is very similar to my own. It's physical and verbal abuse. The kind of playground bullying that happens every day. I'm meeting her at home to talk about what she's been going through.
So, Beth, you are 16 years old, and I know that you haven't got very long until you finish school, yeah, which you're very excited about,
Yeah.
I know. And I also know that you don't really have a great time at school. You don't really enjoy it there, do you?
People used to just, like, call me names like that I was small, that I was ugly, and just things like that.
How does that make you feel?
Really low and upset and just really sad.
So what do you think of yourself, then? If I was to say...
I don't think anything of myself. I don't think the best of myself at all.
Do you ever go out on your own? I mean, you're 16 years
No.
old. So you won't go to the local shop on your own?
Nope.
When you're not at school, you're always with a member of your family?
Yeah.
How do you think I'm going to be able to help you?
I just think you'll be able to, like, give me a little bit more confidence to stick up for myself.
OK. OK. Well, I need to have a little think and try and work out maybe what we can do, all right?
OK.
Want a hug? Oh. What I get from Beth is that she's absolutely petrified of everyone, and she doesn't really trust anyone outside of her family unit. So I feel a little bit upset, obviously, but mainly I feel very responsible for her already. What was it like trying to deal with having a child that was so upset and afraid and everything else?
Horrible, absolutely horrible. We had to throw her out of the car, literally throw her out crying because it's against the law, she's got to go to school.
Yeah.
I mean, on one occasion she rang me and she said that they were bullying her at the time on the phone, and we had to ring the school and they sorted it.
We need to stop it from being so terrible and so disturbing to her that she can walk away feeling that she can close the door and have closure on this experience instead of just running away from it.
I want Bethany to learn to stick up for herself.
1, 2, 3.
No.
Higher. 1, 2, 3. You can. Trust me.
But not before I've had a crash course myself.
You look stupid, Gok. Give me those glasses. Give me them. Come on.
Oh, this is horrible.
Come on.
If you think your child is being bullied, there are signs to look out for. A change in behaviour, possible truancy, bruises, lack of confidence, to name a few. But there are some fantastic organisations out there to help both kids and parents. From websites to workshops to mentors. Later we meet a cyber mentor who works for an anti-bullying website that helps hundreds of teens deal with being bullied. I'm finding out just how important it is to get the right messages in teenage years. The only way to stop this drip of unrealistic images and criticism about how kids should look is to take control.
Good morning, everyone.
So if you're a teen or a teacher, I want you to get talking about your bodies and learn it's okay to be you. I've been testing out a lesson plan and asking teachers to give their opinion. And to prove you can help kids be more confident literally anywhere, I'm setting myself the challenge of holding a body confidence lesson outdoors in central London. But first, I want to get people talking about my lesson plan.
I'm starting off at Radio 1 to meet with Fran Cotton to convince all of our listeners to get their schools on board.
Hello there. I have some very important news. It's Gok One!
Yay!
Auntie Gok, how are you?
I'm very well, mate. It's lovely to be here, and you're looking absolutely gorgeous, Miss Cotton.
Now, you do have a very important reason why you're here today.
Yes, absolutely. I'm spreading the body confidence message today. I'm getting in a helicopter, and then I'm going over to Manchester, and then Birmingham, and then Bristol, and then Guildford. Literally, I'm going to be in the air most of the day.
This is such a worthwhile show that you're doing, with a really important message behind it. Gok, we love you!
See you later! I'm ready! Helicopter, check. Pilot, check. Bag full of DVDs about my body confidence campaign, check. Manchester, here I come.
I've got dozens of journalists to meet, hundreds of DVDs to give out, and over 500 miles to travel, but only one day to do it in.
I'm Kyle, 15. I have a problem with going out because, like, I see people in hoods and I think they're, like, going to beat me up. I got beat up once, like, outside my own house. They smashed my head against a wall, kicked my head in, and I think that made me quite anxious. So I spend most of my time inside, and I avoid public transport. I make my mum take me everywhere.
In many teenagers, bullying can trigger fear and anxiety. There are around 290,000 young people in the UK suffering from anxiety disorder. This can be crippling for adolescents as it prevents them from acting like regular teenagers.
Morning! Hi, you Kyle?
And for Kyle, his fear of hoodies has made him a prisoner in his own home.
So, Kyle, what is the worst thing that could happen if you went onto a bus?
Probably just someone call me a name, but I don't see it like I see it as an extreme, as someone wanting to beat me up for how I look or something. Like big, chaff people.
He's got such a fear that somebody's going to attack him.
And have you ever been beaten up?
Yeah, once. And he just like started like beating me up for no reason.
It stopped going out, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's made me like anxious and stopped me going out a bit.
Because you're 15, and at 15 you should be out there enjoying yourself and experiencing things.
I can't go out a lot. And I feel restricted to my little tiny bedroom or this house.
Kyle's anxiety has got progressively worse. Before I can help him, I need to see for myself just how bad it is. I know this is going to be tough, but I've asked Kyle to share a taxi with me so he can point out the hoodies he fears will bully him.
So how are you feeling, Kyle?
A bit nervous.
What are you nervous about?
Just seeing all people outside shops and stuff.
Kind of groups of people like that?
Yeah, we're all caps and stuff.
So they've got that uniform.
Yeah.
It's like the tracksuits and the caps and the trainers, and
yeah.
When you see that, it's a bit of a warning sign.
Yeah. They just stay there all day drinking and doing drugs and stuff. Because we've seen them doing it. I'd never walk on here on my own.
When you switch on to Channel 4, and you normally see my face pop up, and I give you the big, right, This week I'm in Manchester. Him that you see could not be any further apart from the person that was so shy and so intimidated and so afraid of absolutely everyone when I was growing up, because I, from a very young age, believed the bullies.
Later, Jack and my other celebrity role models share more of their teenage tips.
This was something that happened when I was a teenager, which is a good piece of advice for not ever doing this, because it is not the right thing to do.
I want kids today to be proud of who they are and get the right messages about their bodies. The only way we can do this is if we teach them. I'm going to try and improve 100 teens' self-esteem right in the heart of London, but first, I want to get people talking about my lesson plan.
It's got one! Yay! Auntie got, how are you?
Having started at Radio 1 this morning, I'm now taken to the air.
Waiting for me at the Trafford Centre are going to be some journalists and also some kids, and I'm going to deliver them some DVDs and the lesson about the body confidence. And what I want them to do is take them back to their school on Thursday when I'm with my kids. I want them to be watching the DVD as well. This is going to be remotely the biggest body confidence class ever taught, and it's very exciting, but it's really high. I'll be back shortly. Okay. Keep the engine running. Hello guys, how are you? Dish those around. These are DVDs. We need as much support as possible for the next generation of teenagers need to be taught about body confidence. Will you do that? Yeah! Thanks guys. See you later. Next stop, Birmingham. I'm just asking for 1 hour per academic year to try and teach kids about positive body image.
You want them to be taught about how to have a positive body image in schools.
What we should do is have a very, very healthy perspective of how we view beauty. I've got to go to Bristol. See you later! Ow, I just whacked my head on something. Hi guys! Thank you so much. It's about bullying, eating disorders, it's about growing up gay, it's about all those issues that affect our bodies. When I'm teaching the lesson at Parliament, you'll be watching this at the same time, all the other schools will be watching it, and we'll be having thousands of kids exposed to some very, very positive body information. Thank you very much! We've got the last leg now, which is Guildford. We're running late. We better go. Get in. Hi Guildford, how are you? We are teaching the biggest ever body confidence masterclass. It is so important. Thank you very much indeed, guys. So that's it. We have been literally to Radio 1 this morning to see Fern. We then went up to Manchester. We then went to Birmingham. We then went to Bristol. We're now here in Guildford. My day is done. I need to go and get ready to go and teach those teachers how to show these lot and every single one of you out there what it means to feel good about your bodies.
16-year-old Bethany's experience of being bullied means she won't walk to school by herself. And she has to be driven there every day.
Is this your school here?
Yeah.
Can you kind of describe what it feels like to see the building and to see the gates? And
I just get scared. I'm fine until I get to the gates and then I'll start panicking because I have to go in school on my own.
makes you feel a bit like you've got butterflies a bit.
A bit, yeah.
Yeah, jittery. When do you finish school?
42 days.
Are you counting the days?
Yep.
Wow. I've got to somehow find some closure for Beth before she leaves school to make sure this isn't the place that she will always hate and the place that means so much bad stuff to her.
I'm planning to send Bethany to Kidscape, a fantastic charity I've been patron of for 5 years, where I hope she can find the confidence and tools to deal with being bullied.
Hi, how are you, gorgeous?
Very well.
But in order to help and advise her, I'm undertaking a crash course myself with Peter Bradley, one of the charity's directors.
A really good exercise to do is you identify those danger areas where bullying might be more prominent. The first thing is you keep away from the danger areas.
Should you always take yourself away from it? There's a part of me, I suppose, that's still angry from when I was younger that I didn't turn around and say, right, do you know what, you lot, I'm going down to that area whether you like it or not.
Yeah. What we're trying to do is we're trying to ensure that the young person is kept as safe as possible. Then the whole thing of assertiveness training, their body language, can come into it. If you're the target of a bully, the first thing that you need to do is try to become an assertive person. If you're passive, you're willing to do anything for anyone at your own detrimental effect. If you're aggressive, you're going to hit someone, you're so angry. What we're trying to do is get that in-between point, which has been assertive. Right, so I'm the bully, and I can see straight away, just by looking at your body language, that you're very vulnerable. You've got your feet turned in a very passive way. You're looking at the floor. There's no kind of eye contact. You're not a strong person, so you're the ideal person for me to bully.
I'm scared!
Go. Hey. Those glasses. Who wears glasses like that these days? You look stupid, Gok. Hey, give me those glasses. Give me them. Come on.
Oh, this is horrible.
Come on. The way that you coped there, you took one step back. You didn't come back at me. You were very passive.
But do you know, I'll tell you why I think that was induced by you, because the very clever thing, and actually my breathing's gone shallow, it reminded me of when I was younger, is that what you did is because I'm obviously taller than you came underneath and looked up at me. You wanted to gain eye contact with me, and that was horrendous. And that's, at that point, I needed to be away from that.
Yeah.
Horrible.
People communicate in a number of ways. It might be verbally, it might be written, or it might be about your body language. Shoulders, where we can put the shoulders back.
Yeah.
Chest out. If you're aware of your body language, if you're aware of the way that people perceive you, you talk to someone with good eye contact, assertive eye contact, they have to listen. Then that is a way forward to making sure that you're a stronger, more assertive person in this world.
I've done my hard graft, now it's Bethany's turn.
Bethany, do you realise that you've got great assertive eyes?
No.
You have, but what you're doing is that you're just tilting your head down a little bit. So by raising your chin and giving me good eye contact, all of a sudden you look really assertive. You're doing great, by the way. I'm just tweaking it a little bit. Hey, Gemma, give me your phone.
No.
Fantastic. Felt good? Right, Bethany, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
No.
Higher. 1, 2, 3. You can. Trust me.
I was bullied when I was 8, all the way through till I was 12, when my mum took me out and started homeschool me. I was punched, kicked, spat on, bitten, name-calling and shouted at.
Think about this. People need to see you as a strong Bethany. This is the new Bethany. Bethany, give me your phone.
No.
Perfect. Well done. That was really good. Well done.
Well, when I was 12, I had a terrible, terrible time where I didn't want to go to school. I had to be forced into school many mornings for a long time.
As a teenager, I worried about one thing. That was my big feet. Because I couldn't find shoes to fit me. And it was embarrassing. I started getting a complex. I mean, how weird was that? At the age of 15, size 14 feet. So I got picked on at school for being a bit of a freak.
I was one kid who was horrible. I always remember he was called Daryl. He would just punch me in the ribs, like that, for no reason.
I was really thin, and so everyone used to sort of make fun of my skinny gangliness, you know what I mean?
Right.
Boney M, I was called. I'm so glad I got curves now. Let me tell you something, eat your heart out, man.
I went up to this guy that'd been bullying me at school, and I read out this poem that my granny had written about, it was like, I can't remember, I remember one line that said that he wore girls' knickers, and he just gave the biggest dead arm I have ever got, like Chinese burns everywhere.
What changed it for you then?
Sadly, I fell in love with somebody. Fancied this girl in my class, and that took over.
But there was a really mean girl, and I went, "What does number 4 say?" And she went, "Are you hard of hearing?" And I went, "What?" And she went, "Are you hard of hearing?" And I went, "What?" And people picked up on it, started really laughing. And it was sort of from then that I thought, oh, this is my way of getting out of this. I'll make people laugh.
15-year-old Kyle is so scared of being bullied by strangers wearing hoodies, it's caused him to have anxiety and panic attacks.
I'd never walk on here on my own.
and stopping him from leading a proper teenage life. I know all too well how much panic attacks and anxiety can literally steal away your teenage years. And I have to say, seeing Kyle in the taxi was really upsetting just because he was so afraid. So what I've asked him to do is to talk to an ex-panic attack sufferer who uses his own experiences to help other people. And I think this is going to be a really good way of Kyle facing his pressures head on. So for Kyle, it's 2 days at a countryside retreat with other anxiety sufferers to help him confront his fears and learn some coping techniques.
Anxiety is appropriate when there's something there to be frightened of. And in your case, your anxiety is inappropriate because you know that the hoodies and the situations that you've been exposed to probably will never happen again. So you're applying high anxiety to something that actually presents no risk. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
To banish his fear of fear, he needs to distract himself by filling his spare time so his brain can't dwell on thoughts that make him anxious. Anxiety affects around 1 in 6 young people, meaning 5 children per classroom could be living with problems like OCD, social anxiety, or panic attacks like Kyle's. The cause isn't always clear, but where stress comes and goes, anxiety stays. Things to watch out for in teens include a constant feeling of dread, restlessness, and excessive sweating. Another symptom is shame. Anxiety sufferers wait an average of 10 years before seeking help, potentially losing years of their life to this crippling fear.
He's interacting with other people with anxiety, so there's a learning process going on. And some of those people are of a greater age than he is. And I think he's realised that, possibly if he doesn't address this now in the right way, he could end up as a 50 or 60-year-old modifying their behaviours due to their anxiety, and that's just not acceptable.
The boy who once struggled to leave the house now knows he has to start challenging himself one small step at a time. And a few days later, he's doing just that.
I've learned if you're anxious, you need to think to yourself, is there actually a real danger here, or are you just making it up in your head? This morning I went to the shop, my mum got a paper. I was quite surprised at myself being able to do it. Being positive about everything at the minute is really helping.
Throughout the years of cyberbullying, 18-year-old twins Grace and Kate suffered. They only trusted and talked to one another. But because of that strong bond, they've found it difficult to move on.
We'd like to get closure from all this nastiness and feeling down, especially as we're going to leave home for uni soon.
We want to be able to feel confident and happy.
I've realised that when the girls aren't together, they're spending their entire time phoning and texting one another. What those bullies have done, very cleverly, is that they've made these girls overly rely on each other. What I need to do is reassure these girls that they need to find their feet away from each other.
It's the first time literally the girls have ever been apart, so there will be no phoning, no texting. It's gonna be complete cold turkey.
I haven't been able to contact her. I feel really lost.
I find it really frustrating not being able to text her. Really want to, but no, I won't text her. Thank you.
Grace is finding out how the internet can help teenagers like them who are being bullied.
I'm a cyber mentor for Beat Bullying, and basically what that is I help people who are being bullied online or at school.
And how do they get in contact with you?
There are several buttons that you can press on the site. Get help now, and a click here to chat. And you can go into a confidential chat room. And we always get asked questions like, well, what did you do? How did you cope with it? Or how would you cope with it?
Kate's in Leeds discovering what going to university could be like without Grace. She's meeting a fellow twin who's been through it herself.
Holiday.
So how difficult was it leaving her and coming to university?
It was quite difficult. We'd been in the same room for 15 years, so we were always together. We had the same friends, but it does get easier. Obviously, you have your down days at uni. She's the one I ring because I know that she'll make me feel better.
It's good to be able to talk to someone else, not your parents. I found it embarrassing talking to them about it.
Yeah, because sometimes you feel there's only so much you can say to your parents.
If I'd known about a scheme like this when I was being cyberbullied, I would have contacted someone because it is such a good idea. It was really nice meeting her, really useful, and shows me that I can get something really positive out of this.
How long has it been since you spoke to your sister?
About So it's been 9 hours since me and Kate have spoken, which is the longest time we haven't spoken for, which is quite scary, and I'm starting to miss her a bit as I'm alone in the hotel room.
I've learned that I can be independent without my sister, and I've had the best time ever. It's been really, really good.
Over the past 5 weeks, Kyle has learned to control his panic attacks and venture from the safety of his home. But I've now challenged him to catch the train from Sheffield to meet me in London for one final test.
This morning when I got up, quite shocked at myself for actually getting out of bed and not making up an excuse that I was ill. Coming to London just showed me that not everything's going to hurt me, not everything's bad.
Coming to the capital without mum or dad is just the start of what I've got in store for him.
Hi, Kyle. Can we just remind ourselves where we are?
London.
In like the capital of the country, and you are here right now. This is like enormous. This is absolutely massive.
Yeah, I'm proud.
Right, okay, so I've been thinking, you're really afraid of how certain people look, aren't you? And in your own words, it was the hoodies and the tracksuits, wasn't it? It was those types of people. So what I want to do today is literally put a cap on all of that stuff, all right? So I'm going to do something now. So I'm going to talk to a bunch of people in this room, all right? And I want you just to sit and to listen in here.
Okay.
And I shall see you in a moment.
So as Kyle safely settles down, hidden behind the one-way mirror, it's time to bring in some teenagers from across London. I'm hoping my boy will see there's more to these hoodies than meet the eye.
I've got a very, very dear friend of mine. He has a certain image in his head of people that he thinks are dangerous to him. I want him to realise just because you come from a certain environment, it doesn't mean that, number one, you're going to be a criminal, and number two, you're going to be a danger to everyone else. Do you kind of agree with that?
Yeah, that's honest.
Yeah.
You know how we're judged by the way we're dressed?
Yeah.
If they could look past that and
never judge a book by its cover.
Never judge a book by its cover.
Some people see me and they feel intimidated, like, well, that's if I have my hood up.
We ain't criminals, and we ain't gonna beat you up if we see you on the street just because of what we're wearing. So he needs to recognise that people are not gonna stop wearing hoods and hats just because people feel threatened that way, because that's what they feel comfortable in.
If you get to know us, some of us will probably talk to him and become his friend.
All the way through that, Kyle was in the room next door and he was listening, so I'm going to bring him in now. I'm sure he might have a couple of questions for you. All right? Okay.
Now it's time to really put Kyle to the test and bring him face to face with reality.
So guys, I'd like you to meet my very dear friend Kyle. What was it like hearing all of that stuff? Because for me it felt very positive.
Yeah, it did feel positive, but it was quite shocking, to be honest. That you're not all the same, like big chavs. It's going to beat me up.
Which I think is fair, which I think is actually the most honest response that you could possibly get. And it's
It's better than a lie anyway, to be honest.
Yeah, of course it is.
You know, sometimes even when we're on the street, we're scared as well to walk
Yeah,
past.
definitely.
We all have that fear.
Thanks for being there and proving that.
You've only got to go into the street to look around and you're going to see 1,000 people that will intimidate you. We all feel the same way. It's about us managing that intimidation. Thank you so much. I think, I've learned a massive lesson. I think Kyle has as well, right?
Yeah.
You see all those people down there right now? You deserve to be like every single one of those. Enjoying yourself, not having to be afraid of anyone.
I'm more positive about things. I'm looking forward to being able to live my life like any other 15-year-old lad would.
Kyle is at last starting to put his fear of bullying into perspective and live life like a normal teenager.
Since I've started my filming, I've been like proper happy, because now I'm not scared of things that made me scared most in life. My life's changed massively. I've been out absolutely loads. Been to Manchester, played football in the park, instead of being in the house on my own. It's absolutely amazing feeling.
Now I need to turn my attention to twins Kate and Grace.
When I look at this, it terrifies me a little bit.
Kate and Grace have spent some time on their own and mentally they're becoming stronger as individuals. But like lots of twins, they still look and dress the same.
Right, come on, home. Therapy.
So I'm going to do what I do best and hit their wardrobes to investigate.
I like that for a party. You can see my arms.
So there's definitely a style going on, isn't there? They're all very vintagey looking.
Yeah.
But stay here 1 second. Let me go and find your sister. Kate, in your room, my love.
Yep.
Right, can you do the same for me? Just some items of clothes that you think represent you.
Cardigan.
Yeah. It wasn't until I was 13 years old that I decided that I was going to give myself a makeover. And I bought a cable knit jumper, and I bought a pair of chinos, and I had my hair cut into a kiss curl and covered it with so much gel that you could possibly, you know, go on tour with a boy band for a month with the same amount of gel as I had in my hair. I walked back into school with my chest puffed high, and my shoulders were down, and my head was held high, and the words fat, queer, chink didn't mean the same thing because I suddenly had this superhero costume that I'd created and that I was wearing. And that's when it all went, that's when it changed for me. Right, come with me to your sister's room.
Oh,
now,
nice.
if these all belonged in the same wardrobe, would it look out of place?
No.
Does it all look like it should come down the runway at the same time as part of a whole
they're
collection?
Really similar.
Girls, I think the only way you're going to find some true strength in who you are is if you pull yourselves away from it a little bit, because when I look at this, it terrifies me a little bit.
It's not just about frocks and handbags. I want them to embrace looking different and through that gain confidence and stop being a target to the bullies.
We was trying to get an idea of what styles are out there, just different clothes, different hairstyles, and what ones might like suit us maybe. It's like quite difficult trying to find two separate identities for like us.
Because we both like the same thing.
So it's kind of difficult, like, and out of our comfort zone, but yeah, excited about it.
When I first met 16-year-old Bethany, she told me how her fear of bullies left her unable to walk to school by herself.
I just get scared. I'm fine until I get to the gates and then I'll start panicking.
I'm hoping with the confidence she's gained from Peter and the Kidscape course, all that has now changed.
I don't normally walk to school because I think it's scary, but the walk wasn't actually that scary today.
Bethany's confidence has definitely gone up. I mean, she's still getting a little bit anxious when she gets to school, but she's happier to go in, which to me it's a bonus and it's a start.
This is the second day of walking to school and I'm already feeling a little bit more confident.
Her personality seems to be more up and she's happier generally, which is making us happier, which is the main thing.
Bethany's faced probably the biggest challenge of her entire life, and to you and I it might seem really simple and basic, but she's walked to school on her own. I'm hoping that this is the beginning of a brand new chapter for Bethany, that she will from now on learn to love the person she is and no longer want to change.
So do you feel more confident, Bethany?
Yes. Since I've met Gok, it's made me feel a little bit more confident and better about myself. I think the things in the future will be better because I'll be able to stop myself from being bullied, like.
So it's been a few weeks since I've seen Kate and Grace, and the last time I did see them, I set them a big challenge of going out and finding their own individuality, their own style, because I for a fact know that if you find your own image and find your own style, it will give you loads of self-worth and self-confidence and help the girls move on to the next stage. Well, look at you two. How are you? Come on. Double hugs. I like working with twins. I get two hugs at the same time. Wow. Wow. How are you doing?
Really good, thank you.
Turn. Let me see. Let me see. You look amazing. Beautiful dress is gorgeous. I love all the colour. I love the accessorising. The hair's amazing. Gorgeous. And you, let's have a little see. Again, beautiful. And my God, the big change. The hair. Do you love it?
Yeah, I think so. I'll have to get used to it a bit.
Gorgeous. Do you know why I did this in relation to the bullying?
So we wouldn't be
like seen as just one person and labelled as the twins.
Have your new looks given you a whole new lease of life and maybe a bit more confidence?
Yeah,
like so much. I have such more confidence now than I did before.
Good, and if anyone said anything mean to you now, or put anything on Facebook now, what would you think?
I don't care about what anyone thinks of me anymore. I just don't give a shit.
Double high five. And what about you?
I'm not as confident as Grace is, but I definitely ignore it.
Well, listen, do you know what? You look stunning.
Thank you very
And
much.
the most attractive thing is the fact that you are both coming across so much more confident.
Definitely.
Yay! Come on in, my very beautiful twosome. I'm very proud of both of you.
Thank you. Since seeing Gok, we've both become a lot more confident and not really care what anyone else thinks of us anymore. And I feel like I've got my own identity again, because we've both got different hair colours. Like mine's a lot blonder, and Kate's ginger. It's not ginger, it's just strawberry blonde. It's not. It's definitely ginger. And we don't really get noticed as twins anymore. We're noticed as like two separate people.